A disabled baby girl born without arms or legs is abandoned beside a dumpster in the rain by her wealthy parents. She's found by a poor street cleaner with nothing but love to give. What happens 16 years later will leave you in tears. Sit back, relax, and let's dive into this powerful story of rejection and compassion. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe for more heart-touching stories coming your way. Rain fell in thin needles bouncing off the cracked pavement. The alley behind Westbrook Market was nearly empty, except for the towering dumpster and a flickering street lamp that hissed as droplets hit its glass. A woman in a long, champagne-colored gown hurried through the shadows. Her heels clicked sharply, echoing against the brick walls. She clutched a wicker basket so tightly that her knuckles glowed white. Her mascara had bled into streaks, her lipstick smeared. She kept glancing over her shoulder. A cry rose from the basket, not loud, not strong, just a thin, pleading sound. Shh. She bent over the basket and tugged the blanket tighter. Her lips moved, but the words were too soft to catch. She crouched beside the dumpster. Her hair, pinned perfectly an hour ago, now hung in damp curls around her face. A male voice called from the street beyond. "Hurry, someone might come." The woman's jaw tightened. She set the basket down slowly, brushing the blanket one last time. Then she stepped back. The cry sharpened, almost like it sensed she was leaving. She turned away. Her heels splashed in a shallow puddle as she walked toward the waiting car. The driver's door opened just enough for her to slip inside. The slam was final. A heartbeat later, the engine roared, tires spraying water, and the car vanished into the dark. The alley was quiet except for the rain and the baby. From the opposite end, the sound of a cart's wheels squeaked unevenly. Joy, the street cleaner, emerged in her faded skirt and thick patched shawl. Her broom clattered against the cart as she walked. She was humming faintly until she heard it. A cry, weak, wet. Her steps quickened. She turned the corner of the dumpster and stopped dead. Oh my Lord. She knelt beside the basket. Inside was a baby girl, skin damp and cold, wrapped in a blanket now clinging with rain. Joy's heart lurched when her eyes caught the rounded stumps where arms and legs should have been. The baby's mouth opened again, the sound desperate. Joy's throat burned. Who could? She scooped the basket into her arms, holding it close to her chest. Her shawl slipped off her shoulders as she rocked back and forth. Shh, it's okay. You're safe now, my little one. You hear me. You're safe. The rain picked up, pattering hard against the tin roofs nearby. Joy tucked the blanket under the baby's chin, shielding her with her own shawl, and turned back down the alley. Her sandals slapped the wet ground as she moved quickly toward the main road. Her cart was left behind. Her broom too, she didn't care. All she could feel was the tiny heartbeat fluttering against her chest. The one-room apartment smelled faintly of boiled beans and laundry soap. Evening light slipped through the cracked window, painting the faded walls gold. Joy sat cross-legged on the thin mattress, a wooden bowl of rice untouched beside her. On the bed, propped against a pillow, was Miracle, 6 years old now. Her body was small, her arms and legs ending at rounded stumps, but her eyes shone like polished stones. She grinned at Joy, head tilted. Again, Joy said softly, her voice almost a whisper, as if the moment could break if she spoke too loud. Miracle licked her lips, then opened her mouth. The first note floated into the air, low and gentle at first, then rising in a smooth, rich arc. The sound wrapped around the room, filling every corner, drowning the noise from the street below. Joy's breath caught. She'd heard her sing countless times, but each time felt like the first. She closed her eyes, letting the voice roll through her like warm water. Outside the half-open door, footsteps shuffled in the hallway. A small boy peeked in Michael from next door. He froze, mouth slightly open, then waved for his sister to come. Soon 2 more children crouched in the doorway listening. When Miracle hit the high note, Michael whispered, "She sounds like the radio." Joy chuckled, her eyes still wet. Better than the radio, my dear. The song faded. Miracle's chest rose and fell, her lips curving in a shy smile. Was that good? She asked. Joy brushed back a strand of hair from her forehead. Good? You made the angels jealous. Miracle giggled, then bit her lip. Mama Joy, can I ever sing for a lot of people, not just here? Joy swallowed the lump in her throat. One day, my child. One day the world will know your voice. A sudden rumble of thunder rolled in the distance, and rain began to patter on the tin roof. The smell of wet earth crept in through the window. Joy pulled the blanket over Miracle's legs, or where they would have been, and lay down beside her. They listened to the rain together. After a while, Joy began to hum an old hymn, and Miracle joined in. Their voices blended, one rough with age, the other smooth and sweet. It was the only duet the world didn't know it needed. The children at the door stayed until their mother called them away. When they left, the corridor fell silent again, except for the music in that small room. As Miracle sang herself to sleep, Joy kept her hand on the girl's side, feeling each breath. Outside, the rain grew heavier, but inside, the warmth between them was enough. Joy stared at the cracked ceiling and made a silent promise, whatever it took, she would make sure Miracle's voice was heard beyond these four walls. The whirring fan in the corner rattled against its rusty frame. It was a hot Saturday afternoon, the kind that made even the concrete floor sweat. Joy wiped her palms on her skirt for the third time in 5 minutes. In front of her, Miracle sat in her wheelchair, eyes fixed on the old second-hand laptop balanced on the wooden table. A silver microphone bought from a pawn shop after months of saving sat on a stack of old books to reach her height. Joy leaned in. Are you sure you want to do this, baby? Miracle's eyes didn't leave the screen. Yes, they don't have to see me, Mama Joy. I just want them to hear me. The screen flickered as the Global Stars online audition page loaded. Small squares popped up, other contestants joining the virtual waiting room. Miracle reached forward with the little movement she had in her rounded arms and tapped the trackpad with her elbow. The button Join Live Audition glowed blue. She pressed it. The host's voice came through the speakers, warm and professional. Next up we have username, Golden Song 16. Welcome. Miracle's cheeks flushed. She brought her mouth close to the microphone. Hello, sir. Where are you joining us from? The host asked. Lagos, Miracle replied. Wonderful. What will you be singing? A song I wrote. It's called Still Here. The host smiled from his little square on the screen. Take it away. Joy stepped back to the far wall, clasping her hands tightly. Miracle closed her eyes. The first note was like silk. It drifted into the tiny room, into the speakers, into the headphones of every judge and listener across the feed. The melody rose slowly, her voice soft but steady, then swelled with power on the chorus. In the chat box, messages began flooding in. Who is this? Miracle sang as though the walls had melted away. She imagined fields of open grass, skies without wires, an audience without faces. Her voice climbed the final bridge, then melted into the last soft note, lingering in the air like a held breath. Silence followed. For a moment, even the chat stopped. Then applause erupted through the speakers, judges clapping, viewers sending emojis, flying in the chat. The female judge leaned forward, almost teary. My God, she whispered, you're magnificent. Miracle smiled shyly. Thank you, Mom. The host cleared his throat. Can we see you? Turn on your camera for the audience. Miracle's smile faltered. She glanced at Joy. Joy shook her head gently. Not yet, she mouthed. Miracle turned back to the mic. Not today, sir. Let the voice be enough. The host looked at her for a long moment, then nodded. Sometimes. That's more than enough. When the call ended, Joy rushed to her side, cupping Miracle's face. You did it, baby. You really did it. Miracle grinned, cheeks flushed. No, Mama Joy. We did it. The midday sun poured through the window, throwing bright squares of light onto the living room floor. The old ceiling fan spun lazily, moving more dust than air. Joy was bent over the sewing machine, mending the strap of Miracle's dress. From the corner, Miracle's phone buzzed again, the 10th time in an hour. Another message? Joy asked without looking up. Yes, Miracle said, scrolling with her chin pressed against the phone holder strapped around her neck. People keep sharing my audition video. It's everywhere now. Joy smiled faintly. Good. Let them hear the gift God gave you. Before Miracle could reply, a sharp knock rattled the front door. It wasn't the quick tap of a neighbor or the polite knock of a friend. It was slow, deliberate, and heavy. Joy frowned. Who's that now? She rose, wiped her hands on her wrapper, and crossed to the door. When she pulled it open, the world seemed to slow. A man and a woman stood there. The woman wore a cream blouse tucked into a pencil skirt, gold earrings glinting in the sun. The man's suit was perfectly pressed, his watch catching the light. Expensive perfume drifted in from the hallway. Joy's shoulders stiffened. Yes? The man cleared his throat. We're looking for someone. A girl named Miracle. Joy's voice hardened. Why? The woman stepped forward slightly, her heels clicking against the floor tiles outside. Because she's our daughter. Silence. From behind Joy, Miracle's voice came, calm but sharp. You mean the baby you left by a dumpster? The woman flinched. Her eyes darted past Joy to the wheelchair in the shadowed corner. Miracle, she began. You don't understand. I understand perfectly, Miracle interrupted. Her voice didn't rise, but it cut through the air. You saw I had no arms, no legs, and you decided I wasn't worth keeping. The man took a step forward, his tone softening. We were young, scared. We didn't know how to... You didn't want to, Miracle said. There's a difference. Joy stood between them, her chest rising and falling. Her hands twitched with the urge to push them back down the hall. The woman's voice cracked. We've followed your story. We saw your audition. We're proud of you. Miracle let out a small laugh, though there was no humor in it. Proud? You didn't even want to know if I'd live. The man looked at Joy. We'd like to be part of her life now. Joy's eyes narrowed. She already has a life and a family. The hallway grew heavy with silence. Outside, somewhere far away, a vendor's cart clanged as it rolled over the road. Miracle tilted her head toward the door. Mama Joy, please ask them to leave. I'm already home. Joy didn't say a word. She simply stepped forward and with one steady push, closed the door. The lock clicked. Inside, Miracle let out a long breath and Joy crossed the room to kneel beside her. She cupped Miracle's face, thumb brushing a tear that had escaped down her cheek. You're mine, Joy whispered, and nothing changes that. Miracle smiled through the tears. I know. The concert hall pulsed with sound, the chatter of thousands of voices, the shuffle of feet, the thump of bass notes as the sound crew tested the speakers. Warm lights spilled over the rows of chairs, glinting off camera lenses and the glittering gowns of women in the front row. Backstage, the hum was different, quieter, focused. Miracle sat in her wheelchair, dressed in a simple midnight blue gown that draped like liquid over her small frame. The glowing microphone waited on its stand a few feet ahead, the stage curtains drawn tight. Joy stood beside her, hands resting on her shoulders. You ready? Joy asked softly. Miracle took a slow breath. I've been ready since the day you picked me up from the rain. Joy's eyes shimmered. She gave the chair a gentle squeeze before stepping aside as the stage manager signaled. A deep voice boomed through the speakers. Please welcome Miracle. The curtains pulled back. Light hit her face, warm and blinding at first. The audience erupted into applause and cheers, the sound rolling like a wave. Camera flashes sparked from every corner of the hall. Miracle wheeled forward until she reached center stage, The crowd's noise softened to a hush. She could feel thousands of eyes on her, not just in the room, but through the live broadcasts streaming across the world. She leaned toward the microphone. "Some of you already know my story," she began, her voice steady but soft. 16 years ago, a baby was left in the dark beside a dumpster, in the rain. She had no arms, no legs, but she had a heartbeat. The hall was silent. Even the sound crew seemed frozen. "That baby," Miracle continued, "was me. My parents saw a body they thought was broken, a life they thought wasn't worth living, but someone else saw me differently. A woman named Joy. She was not rich. She wasn't famous. She didn't have much, but she gave me everything." Joy stood in the wings, her hands covering her mouth. Miracle's voice trembled slightly as she went on. "She gave me warmth when I was cold, food when I was hungry, safety when I was alone. And she gave me the one thing that has carried me here tonight, love." A few sniffles echoed from the front rows. A man dabbed his eyes with a folded handkerchief. "My voice belongs to her," Miracle said, her words now sharp and clear. "To the people who saw me before the world did, I am not here because I have no arms or legs. I am here because love is stronger than anything we are born without." A tear slipped down her cheek, catching the stage light. She didn't wipe it away. She glanced toward the wings. Joy's eyes met hers. For a second, the noise of the world faded, and it was just the two of them, the alley and the rain, the one-room apartment, the laughter, the music, the quiet nights. Then Miracle leaned closer to the mic. "This song is for her." The piano began, a single soft chord that floated through the hall. Miracle's voice rose with its smooth, rich, flawless, the kind of voice that made you forget everything except what it was saying. By the time the final note faded, the audience was on its feet, clapping, shouting, cheering. Some cried openly. The noise washed over her like sunlight. Joy pressed her shawl to her face, her shoulders shaking. On stage, Miracle smiled not at the cameras, not at the crowd, but at the woman in the shadows who had never once walked away.